Algebra 1, Lesson 38, Ratio Problems. This is a very important lesson, and you need to be pretty good at solving ratios. First thing we'll do is we'll start with one of the examples. We'll start with example 38.1. And let me put that on my paper. 1 second. Okay, so we've got 38.1. They give us this equation, and we need to solve it. This equation is actually a ratio equation, meaning that we have the ratio of 4 to m is equal to the ratio of 21 to 5. And we solve ratios by cross-multiplying. Now, cross-multiplying helps us rewrite the equation. When we cross-multiply, m times 21 gives us 21m. Excuse me. Okay, so 21m, and then we put our equal sign. So after we do the first cross multiplication, we put the first term, and then we put the equal sign. Then we do 4 times 5. That gives us 20. So remember, cross multiplication just helps you rewrite the equation. It doesn't solve it for you. Now that we have 21m equals 20, we can divide each side by 21, and we find out that m equals 20 over 21. And that is our answer. So we're going to be using this method to solve our practice problems, which we'll turn to in our book. Now, what are we looking at? Here we go. In practice A, they tell us the ratio of neophytes to masters at the tryout was 7 to 2. What's a neophyte? I don't know. What are they trying out for? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Don't get hung up on the words. They're going to throw all kinds of weird words at you. So we're just going to call it N and M. So, since we don't understand what's going on, we'll just call it N and M. So the ratio of N to M at the tryout was 7 to 2. So that's the first bit of information we have. And we're going to rewrite that on our work paper. So we have the ratio of N to M, and that is 7 to 2. And it's very important that you label these numbers so you don't get confused on your problem. So every time you do a ratio problem, don't forget to label the numbers in your ratio. So I know N is equivalent to 7 and M is equivalent to 2. Now let's go back to the problem and find out more information. They tell us there were 714 N. How many M were there? So we can now fill in our proportion. They tell us that there were 714 N. So we put 714 there, and they don't know how many M there were. So that will be our unknown. So this is our equation, and we'll use cross multiplication to solve. 7 times M gives me 7m. And that's going to equal 2 times 714. So let's see here. 8, 2, 14 equals 1428. Now we just divide each side by 7 to get our answer. So let's take 1428 divided by 7. That goes in 2. That goes in 0, 7 goes in 28 4 times, 204 times. So m is equal to 204, and we have our answer. Now we'll do practice B. They tell us that the crowd in the Belgrade town square was made up of Croats and Serbs in the ratio of 5 to 9. So again, we'll just read it with the letters. The crowd in the Belgrade town square was made up of C's and S's in the ratio of 5 to 9. So I'm going to write the ratio of C to S is 5 to 9. Now let's go back to our problem. If there were 18,000 S, how many C's were there? So I'm going to put my equal sign, and I've got 18,000 on S, and we need to find C. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different on this problem. This is my preferred method. As opposed to multiplying and dividing due to the algorithms that we memorized in grade school, I'm just going to use fractions to solve it. And some of you might like this, you might not. I find it a little bit easier to solve the problem. So we'll cross multiply, same step as before. We get 9c equals 5 times 18,000. Now I don't want to multiply 5 times 18,000. It's a very big number, so I'm going to see if I don't have to. So I'm just going to write my equation like this as a multiplication problem. From here I divide by 9. Now what I see here is that 9 can go into 18 2 times, and I can cancel this way because this is a multiplication sign, not an addition or a subtraction sign. So this is all one term. So I can cancel 9 for 18 and make that 1 and 2. and then I add the zeros behind the 2. So now, instead of having to multiply 5 times 18,000, I just have to multiply 5 times 2,000, and that'll give me my answer C. So 5 times 2,000 gives me 10,000. So C is going to equal 10,000. Again, you can choose whichever method you like. Some are more easier than others, but in the end, the only thing I'm changing here is in this problem I multiplied before I solved, in this problem I didn't and used fractions to cancel.